Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Random Crafty Acts, or if you've never been here before, welcome to Random Crafty Acts. My name is Barb. I'm a volunteer card maker for Operation Gratitude and obsessive paper crafting person. So I am in the process of finishing up one of my donation boxes, and so I've been working with paper that I already have. So I've got this, which has got, I thought it looked really nice with this brown. So I think we're going to try to make it work with this. And we'll probably use a background with this. Okay, we're going to make A2 size cards, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We're going to use this cutting template from Jess Crafts, JESSCRAFTS.com, and there will be a link for her in the description below. She is my go-to person when I'm doing something like this, simply because she sets up these templates so there are no pattern paper scraps. And this is a very simple card. We're going to cut these are 3-inch pieces and then 2-inch pieces, and we're going to cut the mats that go behind them at 3 1/4 and 2 1/4, and then we're going to stagger them on the front of the card. And then we're going to put a sentiment on the front that's been pre-cut. So it's very simple. The one thing I am going to add here is the back layer mat, which will be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I'll probably cut that out of black. I think that will set this off. Okay, so I'm going to get my cutting platform out. When I mass make like this, I try to do like all of the things at the same time. Like we'll do all of the cutting first, and then we'll start all of the assembly. Okay, so anytime you work with any kind of a card sketch, particularly one in a template setting like this, you want to look at your cut lines, and you want to cut them on the lines that go all the way through. So if, for example, these had been a different length here, you would want to cut this way first, all right, and not all the way through where your pieces here would be wrong. So different templates are set up for different things that are going to go on the front. Okay, so we're going to start with the 3-inch piece, and I keep this out just to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And I want to check to see if there's a slight manufacturing edge there. Okay, this is what is referred to as non-directional paper, meaning no matter which way I turn it, some of the flowers are right side up and some are upside down. Okay, so this is 3. One of the things about Jess Craft is that she has these templates for 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 6 by 8, pretty much any size that of paper you would find out there. Her website is well set up. She does videos on YouTube that are very, very explanatory, and I, in fact, watched this one first this morning to make sure that things were going to go the way I wanted them to go. Okay, and now all these. Now, if I had my great big guillotine out, I could probably cut more than one piece at a time, but I don't. It's on a separate table. And as is common with a lot of 12 by 12 paper, there's a slight difference. There's a bluish color in here that I kind of thought was teal, but I couldn't quite get it to match. Also, there's kind of a sparkle in the center of the flowers. I do have some gold paper, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling that when I was putting the colors together. When you're when you're setting up something like this, I always try to take into consideration the paper I have, okay? And I try to match things up as best I can, especially if I'm following the instruction of somebody like Jess, where, you know, I can watch what she does and then build on that. People that I follow, like her, they expect us to take these templates and work with them as a jumping off point. For example, I'm going to use that mat at the back that she doesn't have on hers, which that mat that I'm going to use is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and you'll see those here in a moment. Okay. All right, these are lots of pieces. How many of these? Oh, we're going to get 8 cards. That's what we're looking for. All right, so then we're going to take this piece of, I think this is 65 pound. So we want 3 1/4, right? According to this, 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. So 3 1/4. Let's see how many we get out of this. I know that there's a way to do that mathematically, but I don't do public math. 2 1/4. The rain has just stopped. I'm filming this in June, the end of June, and 2 1/4, and then a little bit that we could maybe use for a label sometime. So how many did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 1/4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Yeah, we're going to have to cut 2 sheets. Okay, so 1. I may pause the video. I don't know that you need to watch me cut all of these. If you like flowers, you can click on Random Crafty Axe and then go over and check on my playlist. We have a large flower garden here. 3 1/4, not 2 1/4. And there's a playlist over there called Garden Walks. We have like 200 different colors of daylilies blooming. That's not me. I have like no idea. They all have, you know, names, and they've been locally bred, and it's a really big deal according to my husband. Well, actually, more than according to my husband. He's 24. Okay, let's see. What width is this? Why, looky there. That's 2 1/4. So I get that lined up straight. Okay, let's get that little slit off the end. Okay, and then we'll cut. So we've got 15, 16, 17, 18. What did I say we were looking for? 24, 18, 19. I know it's exciting listening to me count. 20, 21, 22, almost, 23, these were in stacks of 5, right? $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, $20, $21, $22. I'll double check that because a lot of times they've stuck together. So we'll cut one more row of this. I was about to try to figure out if there was a different way to cut this so that that big piece that was left is more serviceable. But nothing actually goes to waste. Okay, I'm going to glue one together for you, and then I'm going to pause the video and do the rest because I don't think you need to watch me glue 24 little squares together. Okay. All right, see, they're going to go together just like that. And one of the things I do when I'm working like this, okay, 3, got one of my card backs. I've got a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so my idea is to put that on the back here. Then, according to how this looks, 1, 2, and then bring this back as 3. And then, thinking of you there. I think that's going to be really nice. Okay. I'll be back in just a few. You hardly know I was gone. Okay, we're going to see how this hooks together. The video just shut itself off, and I don't know why. I thought I had it set so it wouldn't do that. What I'm doing is I'm gluing these together. This is connected to a previous video where I'm just gluing these little squares on here, and then we'll put the rest of the cards together if it will let me. I feel like every time I do some kind of I do all my recording with my phone. I feel like every time I do some kind of update, something that I had set that makes it work the way I want it to work, like, disappears. So, or switches back over, or changes. I did word processing for a very long time. I was in a variety of different clerical, secretarial, administrative assistant, always keyboarding, always typing, no matter what my job was. And with the word processing, we always looked at, like, okay, where did they move? Where did they move the key this time? Because there was always like a button we were used to, and the next thing we knew, it was someplace other than where we were used to it being. Okay, this is a very simple pattern, and I'll pull out the template. So that you can see, we take the 3x2 cards that are 3 1/4 by 2 1/4 on the mats, and offset them just slightly. And then put the sentiment on the front. Now set this up here so you can see where we're headed. And then as I'm working, I went through and I folded my card bases, and then I cut my 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I turned the 8.5 by 11 paper landscape and cut it at 5 3/8. And then I take that piece and turn it so that I can cut 2 4 1/8 pieces from that 5 3/8. And I have just like little bits of strips left over. And I have all kinds of things I can do with those. I'll be making some scrap cards here shortly, because I've done a couple of big projects, and I've got a scrap bucket that like you could drown somebody in. I mean, it's really jammed full. And what I typically do will go through, and there are some things I die cut. You know, the little squares like this that, you know, will I'll end up having a use for. And then there are some cards that I make totally out of scraps that I put together. And then everything's starting to stick to my fingers because I've been gluing for closing in on 2 hours, during which we've made 18, 19, I think we'll have made 33 cards. Which the only reason I was able to do that is that I had pre-cut everything. I spent the morning looking at templates and pattern paper and matching colors, and making sure that even though, yes, the pretty green paper was just wonderful, but I didn't have anything to match it after I got it cut. 3 more. Yes, and with these last ones, my Operation Gratitude box is full. There is 200 cards. I'm having to lay a couple. Usually I stack them the same way the envelopes come in, and in order to get 200 in there, I'm going to have to lay a couple of them kind of across the top, which there's room for. Not a lot of room, but enough to do that. I think it's because normally I don't have that problem, but if you were following me when I was making the bulk of what's in that box, I was working with a die set that was pre-made, and the dies themselves were a little thicker than what I normally work with, and I think that's what's taken up the extra room in the box. Incredible kudos goes out to the volunteers who open these boxes of all of the things that we send in, and go through them and sort them and make sure that they meet the requirements, and that they get divided into the stacks so that they can go out in the care packages to our deployed service people and first responders. And looky there, that's the last one of those. So this has come out just right. I mean, those people, you know, I know we feel like we do a lot, making cards and crocheting scarves and gathering all kinds of things that to send bits and pieces of home to the men and women who are helping keep us safe. And but if you have ever watched the videos of what it looks like in California where all of these things end up. Those people are amazing. Takes a village. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Added to my 192. 200 cards in the box. Okay. Let me grab some envelopes. We want to finish this up the big way. All right. 1, 2. I'm going to have to lay them this way. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will close down like this. These are really sturdy boxes. This will come over like this, put down through, and get taped after I put my donation form in there. All right, thank you for being with me through this. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would. You can just click on the subscribe button down there by my name. It helps push these videos out to anyone looking for simple cards and places to donate, and hopefully it will help them come up and find Operation Gratitude so they can join us in this. I hope you have an amazing time and keep checking back, because I have enough scraps and pattern paper to make cards pretty much till the end of my time. Thank you. Bump my head there. I'm fine.